Canada runs the wheat game, controlling nearly 90% of all U.S. wheat imports. And when Trump tried to play tough, Mark Carney didn't flinch. Trump figured wheat was just another bargaining chip, something he could tax, twist, and trade his way through. He thought, if Canada doesn't play ball, we'll just buy from someone else. Big mistake. Because when Trump threw down those 25% tariffs on Canadian wheat, Carney didn't blink. He flipped the entire script. Instead of begging for a deal, Carney rerouted those golden grains straight to Mexico, China, and Brazil. Now U.S. millers are panicking, trying to explain why bread prices are climbing while Canada's wheat ships are sailing south. Today we're breaking down how Canada weaponized wheat like a pro, showing why U.S. flour mills can't just make their own to replace these imports. Mark Carney didn't just shrug off Trump's tariff threat. He flipped it into a powerful lesson that America needs Canada way more than we need them. This is a hard wake-up call. Food security isn't something you gamble with, especially when your neighbor keeps your bread shelves full. Before we dive deeper, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the truth behind the power plays shaping the world. A staggering 90%, that's how much of America's wheat imports come straight from Canada. Every year, the U.S. brings in 120 million bushels. Nearly all of it is Canadian. Not because of loyalty, but because Canadian wheat is simply built different. Its protein and gluten are unmatched. Think about it. Spring wheat from Saskatchewan, durum from Manitoba, these are the power grains of the continent. They're high in protein and perfectly blend with America's softer winter wheat to make flour that bakes just right every single time. U.S. millers spent decades locking in supply chains. Their machines, recipes, and quality control systems all depend on this Canadian grain. Then came Trump, with a hammer instead of a handshake. He slapped a 25% tariff on Canadian wheat, trying to strong-arm our trade policies. In 2024, the tariff instantly added $196 million in costs. Overnight, importers had to cough up millions more in taxes. Flour mills were suddenly cornered, either eat the losses or hike prices sky high. And guess what? There were no alternatives. Canada dominates the global scene, ranking as the third largest exporter right behind Russia and the European Union. In 2025, Canada pumped out a massive 36 million tons of wheat. Only a small slice went to the US. The rest fed 60 countries. That's when Mark Carney did the math. Lose a tiny 2% of exports to the US, or pivot to new buyers who actually respect Canada. Carney boldly declared that Canada would double its non-US exports within a decade. Trump's threats turned that dream into policy. Then came the moment that said it all. A full unit train hauling Manitoba wheat straight to Mexico City. Mark Carney was there in person. That golden grain cruised past American buyers on its way to Mexico. It was a quiet but powerful statement. We no longer needed them. China opened its doors wide. Carney sealed deals that wiped out tariffs on Canadian agricultural goods, and wheat was the centerpiece. Then came Brazil. Traditionally, they looked to Argentina, but Canada's product turned heads. It's got more protein and higher quality. Carney wasn't just talking trade, he was making it happen. He launched aggressive missions to ensure our wheat went south, not across the border. Meanwhile, the U.S. sits on 50 million tons of mostly winter wheat, lower protein and softer gluten. It's fine, but it's not for everything. Pasta? That needs durum wheat, and Canada produces 5.4 million tons while U.S. production barely scratches the surface. For high-protein bread, you need spring wheat from our prairies. Wheat isn't interchangeable, it's science and heritage combined. Our Western red spring wheat has unique qualities honed through decades of innovation. No one else can match it. What a flex. You can't just recreate this magic by planting new seeds. Mills run on razor-thin margins, and Trump's tariffs sent everything off the rails. When the pressure hit, Trump had no solid answers, just noise. But Mark Carney? He was ready with a declaration that changed everything. Carney took the stage at the Canadian Club in Toronto and dropped a bombshell. The decades-long process of ever-closer relationship with the United States is over. Our strengths of being tied to America are now our vulnerabilities. Our economic strategy is to change rapidly. That wasn't just talk. It was a declaration of policy. Canada is forging a new path, one that doesn't depend on a single neighbor. The wheat war showed that Canada isn't just a supplier, we're a powerhouse. America learned it the hard way. For decades, Canada trusted that the U.S. would honor trade deals and respect supply chains. But Trump tore those beliefs apart. So, Mark Carney stopped playing nice. No more begging for exemptions. He built an escape route. Wheat to Mexico, canola to China, energy to Europe. Every time Trump tried to tighten the screws, Carney found another buyer. Then came the U.S. Trade Representative's 5 big demands. Carney rejected every single one, not out of ego but because Trump had zero leverage. Even Mexico's president, Claudia Sheinbaum, managed to negotiate exemptions for his farmers, while Canadian producers took the full hit of those tariffs. But Carney didn't fold. Carney pivoted fast. Canadian wheat started flowing straight to Mexico, outclassing Argentine grain with better quality and sharper pricing. Carney turned what looked like a defeat into a masterclass in economic retaliation. Canada proved it didn't need to bow to US pressure, it could thrive without it. That railway ceremony in Mexico City wasn't just business. It was pure political theater. Carney stood tall, celebrating new deals and reminding everyone that real cooperation doesn't mean submission. Back in the US, agricultural groups were sweating bullets. They saw the pattern. If Canada pulled this off with wheat, it could do the same with other exports too. Meanwhile, China, the world's biggest wheat importer, was paying attention. Normally they bought from Australia and France, but Trump's tariffs flipped the table. Carney jumped on a plane to Beijing to negotiate deals directly with President Xi. China agreed to cut tariffs on Canadian imports while we promised streamlined logistics. Carney's message was crystal clear. If American millers won't buy Canadian wheat because of tariffs, Chinese buyers will, and they'll pay fair market prices. Trump, furious over the China deal, blasted it online, calling it a betrayal. But Carney didn't flinch. He ignored the noise completely. Trump's threats only worked when people were afraid. Canada doesn't need to beg anymore. China, Mexico, Brazil, the Middle East, and North Africa all want a piece of that Canadian wheat. The US might have thought it was irreplaceable, but it's not. America exports millions of tons, but Canada is a serious competitor, now undercutting US prices in Asia. Mark Carney's diversification plan flipped the whole situation. Soon, Canadian wheat was everywhere in Asia, pushing US suppliers out of deals they once thought were secure. Even the American Farm Bureau sounded the alarm, warning that retaliatory tariffs could wipe out 20% of US agricultural exports. That's billions of dollars at stake. Wheat was just the perfect example. American farmers rely heavily on exports, and when those doors close, their incomes crash. By early 2025, flour prices in the US jumped 11%, and everything connected to it went up too: bread, pasta, baked goods, all climbing fast. Flour mills had to pay those tariffs, bakeries paid higher prices, and at the very end of the line, the regular shopper at Walmart got stuck paying the bill. Food inflation turned into a political headache, and it all started with one bad move against Canada's wheat. Trump promised to cut prices, but his tariffs did the opposite. Carney didn't need to fight back, the market did it for him. American buyers paid more, Canadian sellers found new partners, and the US share of our exports keeps shrinking. Carney's plan to double non-US exports by 2035 isn't ambitious anymore, it's happening. Every insult and tariff just pushed Canada to diversify, and it worked. While US millers scrambled for alternatives that don't exist, Carney stood in Mexico City celebrating new trade routes. Canada didn't cave, it evolved. And now, the leverage belongs to Carney. Canada proved that food security isn't just about farming, it's about strategy. Subscribe to Canada Today 13 for more. Stay tuned for our next investigative report. Subscribe to stay informed on the power plays that matter. We'll see you next time.